Hey everyone! Ew. I wanted to do a 6-month Retinoin update. I wanted to do a 6-month Tretinoin update. I wasn't filming when I first started using Tretinoin, so I didn't get to do a 1-month or a 3-month update, but I wanted to tell you where I'm at now that I've been using Tretinoin for 6 months consistently, how the process started, how I was using it at first, and how that kind of evolved to the point where I'm able to use it every single day now and the results that I'm seeing. Some of you might be like thinking about either starting Tretinoin, or maybe you just started and you're feeling dejected because you're peeling a lot, you have a lot of irritation, and trust me, I definitely dealt with that. So for me, my skincare was very, very minimal before starting Tretinoin, and so that's another disclaimer that I should mention. I wasn't using like proper moisturizers, I wasn't using sunscreen religiously, and so I had a far way to go. So while I can't say that all of the improvement while I can't attribute all of my progress to Tretinoin alone, there's a lot of evidence that shows that it is the most efficacious ingredient out of the list of ingredients that I use on a regular basis now. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Like, what even is Tretinoin? So Tretinoin is a form of retinoic acid, which is a vitamin A derivative. There are a few types of vitamin A derivatives that are commonly used, including Tretinoin, brand name Retin-A, tazarotene, which is, its brand name is Tazorac, and Adapalene, which brand name is different. So these are 3 different types of retinoic acid. Retinoic acid is really powerful because it's the ingredient with the most evidence to show its efficacy in removing sun-damaged cells, skin cells, and also improving collagen within the deeper layers of the dermis, which can contribute to a more supple look in the skin and effectively anti-aging, right, of the skin. So they're used generally in prescription-only creams. However, this depends on what country you live in. In the United States, one of the 3 main retinoic acids, Adapalene, is actually now sold over the counter, although it used to be sold by prescription only. In addition to, the anti-aging benefits of using a retinoid cream or gel, it can also improve the look of scars and also reduce acne. And this is because it increases the speed in which your skin produces new skin cells, and so it effectively increases skin cell generation and overturn. And this is why people, when they're first starting, see a lot of peeling. That's actually your skin purging some of the old skin cells that are damaged. In addition to being able to speed up the development of new skin cells, it can also reduce the oil in skin, which is why it works well for acne and is often prescribed for people with acne. So as it helps you exfoliate while producing less oil, it makes it harder for old skin and oil to get trapped within the hair follicles and pores and create acne over time. So people typically start to see improvements within 6 weeks, but it can take as long as 3 months to really see any improvement in terms of acne and aging. For me, I noticed some marked improvements within the first month. Now, I should kind of go back a little bit and tell you about how I started using it. So I have a prescription for Retin-A 0.1%, and it's prescribed by a dermatologist. The strength of Tretinoin can go all the way down to 0.025%. However, it's really unclear how much more effective a 0.1% Tretinoin is versus the 0.025%. It seems inconclusive from the research that I've done. Sometimes it seems like even a lower percentage can be more effective for you because you'll be able to use it more. Anyway, yeah, like I said, so I started using right off the bat, 0.1%. Some people start at a lower percentage and work their way up. That was what I was prescribed, so I started using it. At first, I really only used it like once or twice a week. Even from that, I definitely noticed peeling and a little bit of irritation, and that's why I wanted to take it really slow and gradually work my way up to it. I learned about layering the tretinoin over a moisturizer. Layering it over moisturizer can really help reduce the possibility of irritation and peeling. So I do suggest doing this if you have those concerns. It also does not seem to degrade the performance at all because the tretinoin is still capable of penetrating through the moisturizer that you layer under it. So that's how I was doing it at first. Maybe for the first month, just once or twice a week, and then I gradually worked my way up to doing it maybe a few times a week, to the point where it was every other night. And this was probably by the 2-month mark that I was using it every other night. Definitely still had some peeling around there, and I definitely made sure to use sunscreen every single day religiously and reapply it. So that's not something that was in my regimen before starting tretinoin, but that really kicked my sunscreen game into shape, because using tretinoin and retinoids in general, even retinols, can increase your sensitivity to the sun and increase the potential of skin damage and of burning, really specifically. So anyway, my struggles before using Retin-A were I had blackheads, I had sporadic acne, like pimples that would pop up on my face that was really, I knew, exacerbated by sugar, and so that alone. There's a loud dog outside, sorry. I knew that part of my acne was exacerbated by sugar, and so I didn't feel that retinoid could actually assist in this way. There's only specific acne that a retinoid can really help you with, and hormonal and food-induced acne typically isn't one of them. But like I said, it can help in reducing the amount of oils that build up. So for blackheads specifically, which I get concentrated on the nose, I knew that it could be a really potentially effective ingredient. So far, it has visibly reduced the amount of blackheads I have. I still do struggle with them, and I really infrequently use a BHA, which the specific one I use is a salicylic acid wash. But I use it very infrequently, and I do have high hopes that just continued use of tretinoin and tretinoin alone can reduce my blackheads to almost zero. So I've noticed a huge improvement in just blackheads. I've noticed an improvement in the smoothness of my skin. It's less textured. My nose used to be really bumpy. And in addition, I feel like things have just kind of lifted up a little bit. I have some footage because I started this YouTube channel before I did any real kind of a skincare routine, and before it was just all DIY stuff. I'm not going to get into like what I used to do with my skincare before because it's just really embarrassing, and maybe I'll talk about it later when I'm more willing to embarrass myself. I'll insert like some footage here about like kind of what my skin looked like, so you can see it's like a little dull, especially around the eyes, just dull, kind of like almost borderline droopy. Things weren't looking very bright and clean and uplifting, for lack of a better word. And now I feel like there is just kind of like a brightness to my skin. And I kind of started noticing this brightness within a month of using it when I was using it infrequently, but it would come and go. I definitely struggled with the what is it called? The Retin-A uglies or the retinoid uglies? I don't know what it's called, but it's basically a term referred to just looking ugly when you first start using retinoids. And I think it's what deters a lot of people from using them, because in addition to like having red and irritated skin and some peeling, it kind of just makes you look ugly. I can't explain it. Maybe I have some photos to insert here, but the way that I can best describe it is just, it almost makes it look, maybe it's like slightly uneven, slightly dry, slightly ugly. Started using Retin-A in late November of 2019. By February of 2020, I was starting a new job. At this point, I was using tretinoin maybe like every other night on average. And the weekend before starting the job, I just like took the whole weekend off from using it because I knew I would look better on Monday morning for like taking my badge photo and like meeting people. So I really noticed that if I took a break, like I could see the benefits of using retinoids. But once I was using it every other day at that time, when it was still like, you know, within the first 3 months, I was like, this is ugly. So then, you know, I was like in person at that job for a few weeks. I started going back to using it every other day after people got a good first impression of me. And then once we started working from home in early March due to, you know, like a shelter in place order, I ramped up and started using it every day because no one was going to see me. So I did notice, like, you know, a little more peeling, a little more irritation at first for the first 2 weeks. But then I got to a point where I was using it every day without any more peeling. Things just started looking consistently nice, bright, and better. And so that's where I am now. It's the end of May. It's been 6 months since starting. And so it's, you know, there's an uplifting story for you. I had this scar here. I can't say that there's a huge improvement with the scar, but this is a very old scar, like 10 years old. I do still have some post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, which you might be able to see. And that's really from acne. I have darker skin, and I've started more recently using a tinted sunscreen, which I have some videos on, because in people with darker skin tones, acne can lead to these dark marks, which are hyperpigmentation. But retinoids can actually help with that. An alternative to retinoid, if you don't have access to a prescription and for whatever reason don't want to use Adapalene, which is available over the counter, are retinols. Basically, retinols are ingredients that are further removed from vitamin A and require the skin to take them and to perform an additional step on them to get them into their active form known as retinoic acid, which can actually then help build the collagen in your skin and slough off dead skin cells and produce new ones. So they're less effective, and they also aren't studied as much. So in products, because they're over the counter, there's no real standard that has to be met in order to put them out onto the market. And so that's kind of the biggest issue with over-the-counters in general, is that you never really know what you're getting when you buy a product because there is no official standard and criteria for putting them out. So you know, some people have good success with them. Some people alternate between using a retinol and a retinoid night by night. I do use tretinoin around my eyes because I was a frequent eye rubber as a kid and into my adolescent years and early adult years because I have bad allergies. And so it's just like one way that I found relief from itchy eyes, but it was really detrimental to my skin, clearly. The other place that I use it very sparingly, like I'm talking once a week, is on my neck. Very, very in small amounts. I just dot it onto my neck because, you know, I started noticing some lines there which are definitely made worse by, you know, looking down at technology or looking down at my laptop. A mistake I made early on was using retinoid on my neck more than I should because I started using it on my neck later than my face, and then I started kind of like syncing up how, like, I think I was doing my face every other night at the time, and then I kind of started doing that on my neck just because I was like being too aggressive. And on New Year's Eve, I wore a turtleneck that was kind of itchy. And the next day I just had this like horrible rash all around my neck, which is partially attributable to the sweater, but mostly attributable to using too much tretinoin. The reason why you can't use too much in these areas, like on the eyelids and the neck, is because you don't have as many sebaceous glands, which is what is the oil producing aspect of your skin, and so it makes it more likely to be irritated by vitamin A. The other thing that I'd like to see more improvement on are under the eyes. I have some, you know, fine lines which happen from smiling, but I'd definitely like to see those smoothed out. I still struggle with a little bit of acne, but like I said, that is kind of triggered by sugar in my case, and the only way that that's going to go away is if I can find a way to stop eating so much maple syrup. My Achilles heel. But overall, I'm really happy, and I think maybe I'm really bad at just going down one path. I feel like I'm jumping around a lot, and I apologize, really. I know that this is probably so annoying. My hair is kind of messed up. I have a nighttime skincare routine where I show how I actually use retinoid, but I think moving forward, I'm going to continue using it. I'll do another progress update after 9 months and show you like what the difference is from today. Overall, I'm really pleased. I didn't know that I would ever find anything that could actually visibly reduce the signs of aging that I was experiencing. And I'm just like really happy that I found it and had access to it. I think if I didn't have access to if I didn't have access to Retin-A, I would, well, first, I mean, I would go for the generic brand too. If it's cheaper for you, it's the same thing. But if I didn't have access to a prescription for retinoid, I would go for Adapalene for sure, because this was previously formulated as a prescription product. And so I just trust its efficacy a lot more and its ability to actually work. In conclusion, that's where I am. I hope that was helpful to you. Like I said, I do have that nighttime skincare routine, which I filmed early on, okay? Give me some slack, cut me some slack. It's not the best video ever, and I'm doing a great job at selling it, and I realize that no one's gonna watch it now. Okay, anyway, maybe I should start over. Like I said, I did film a nighttime skincare routine where I actually show you how I use retinoid using a pea-size amount, which it's easy to go overboard because it doesn't seem like enough to actually work, but trust me, it's enough to really make you peel, look red, and look ugly. So don't overdo it, start slow. It's going to be your best course of action if you want to see long-lasting results. You need to be patient here. If you're just 1 month in and you're feeling ugly, don't worry. I was feeling ugly too. And you know, you have a lot to look forward to, is what I would say. Not that this is what you have to look forward to. I'm just saying, I've seen a huge improvement. If you stick to it, you will as well. So just be diligent and don't give up on it. Wear your sunscreen as well. Don't neglect your sunscreen because you could be doing more harm than good. I feel like I end up saying that in every single video. Just be safe with your skin, treat it well. It's fragile, it's a fragile organ. It's also the largest organ on the body. I know science. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, like the video, and you can feel free to subscribe to my channel if you aren't annoyed with me. Goodbye.